Hey everyone, I wanted to do something a little bit different this week. I've been trying out new ideas here at Mangastorian because I wanted to see what I can do over here and have fun with. And today, I bring you the editor, the man who does, you do it all, you do everything. It's Kevin. He's the original Mangastorian when we started the channel originally, and I thought we could explain that here on Mangastorian. We've explained it a few times on different podcasts as to what actually happened to Mangastorian, but I wanted to answer some of the questions that relate to the brand and show you guys things like this and kind of talk about my statue collection for...
It's the Arceus V-Star Premium Collection.
So if you've been watching my YouTube stories on Comicstorian, they're like 15-second clips where I answer questions. A lot of times I'm in my, basically where I sketch in like the office upstairs. And in the background is my manga collection, which Kevin will put as B-roll on here eventually. It's my comic book and manga collection. And at the top, there's a bunch of Arknight statues. I'll put one of those over here first.
And I always get many.
There's too many to move all down there. So I got two of my new ones, my favorite ones. So I wanted to talk about the statues, show off some of the stuff. Kevin's gonna B-roll some stuff, and we're gonna explain things that happened with the original Mangastorian, what's going on with the Patreon stuff from forever ago, and all that crap. We'll just explain it all here on a video that lives on Mangastorian, so I can stop saying the story exists on a different channel.
Mangastorian 3?
You told me it was 4. I think it's 3.
It might be 3. It feels like I've done this 100 times over and over again.
Yes. So before we get into that though, I want to explain this, because Arknights is a tablet game that has now come out with an anime that is being done by a Chinese studio. It's a whole weird thing, but I've been following it since it first came out. And this statue is actually hilarious. So they announced these statues, and anybody who knows anime statues, they come in a couple crazy price ranges. It's $250 to $300 or $30.
Yeah, 45 for something like this.
Yeah, 30 to 45 depending on where you find it. Like at a con or you find it on Amazon. These are your differances. They don't get much bigger than this except for one big statue that Kevin's gonna put in the B-roll that I own.
Oh yeah, the one over there.
Yeah, no, the Evangelion one over there.
Yeah.
But so I don't know, I just wanted to do like a fun video where we just kind of explain some of the history and talk about some of these things. But this statue's funny because I got this one when it was first announced, because when the game first came out, this is the character I wanted, Hoshiguma. And this was her costume that I couldn't get for the longest time. And they announced this back in pre-COVID.
And they put her in the costume.
Yes, and they put her in the costume that's the same to get, okay? And what happened is, this was announced pre-COVID, and I was like, I'm gonna get one Arknight statue, and it's gonna be my favorite tank character.
Oh, she's a tank.
Yeah, that's a shield. That's her shield on the backside here.
Oh, that's a shield.
Yeah, and she spins it, it's her special.
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I ordered this on pre-order, but it took almost 3 years for these two to come out. And you're gonna see two, and you're gonna be like, what? You just said you only wanted one. Well, this started a collection of anime statues because I never had anime statues.
Can't just have one.
Well, so they announced the Ifrit follow-up, and Ifrit's a character within it. So she's a tank. Ifrit is a mage user, and she basically locks down entire corridors. And so they announced that both these, and I pre-ordered these. And then I only got both of these in like 2 months ago, Kevin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they are being made, they're flagged as Crunchyroll. I don't know who actually made them, but it took so long because of COVID and the delays that what ended up happening is they just never came out. And the company for Arknight statues, whoever does their merchandising, then shifted to a different company to mass produce a whole bunch of other characters. And I just started buying them all.
Of course.
Because what happened is, it was right in the middle of COVID, they kept announcing these. And so when I was like, oh, well, yeah, it's expensive. They're expensive statues, but I really like them. So I'm gonna get them.
They look cool.
And this started my anime collection of statues. Now I've had manga and I've watched anime since I was younger. We'll talk about more of that in a minute, because you've been, I think we both, for me, I don't know about you, but I kicked off watching anime and manga, and I get asked this question a lot over on Comicstorian. Oh my God, did you just get into anime and manga? No, actually my first anime was the original Trigun. I bought the DVDs at my local Best Buy.
I remember that, dude. I used the same thing with Dragon Ball.
Yeah, dude, I hated Dragon Ball. I hated it, because I liked Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
I was like, Dragon Ball Z has too much fighting. I want Dragon Ball back.
Yeah. I mean, there was a charm to Dragon Ball.
Yeah. And eventually, I went from Trigun to Hellsing. Remember Hellsing? That was my first anime that made no sense. And then I went to Neon Genesis Evangelion, and that officially led into watching Adult Swim and Cowboy Bebop.
Such an odd lineup. to get you into anime and manga. Like, think about that. Like those are very like they're not super obscure, but like Evangelion is like a cult classic, right? And it's like so confusing, especially if it's like one of your first things to watch.
It was, and it was funny because I was buying the DVDs, so I was hoping it would eventually answer things.
What's going on?
And if you've watched the original Evangelion, it answers nothing. Yeah, it's just like this one over the left. It's hard for me to twist around.
Yeah, I'll probably get individuals too. So like while we're talking, I'll probably just cut.
And speaking of Evangelion, I have 2 big anime purchases. One of which is not here yet. It's the My Hero Academia one I showed you. Because we normally get these giant statues, and we used to use them as set pieces.
They're everywhere.
If you've seen like our studio tour for Dungeons and Ale. They're all over the walls. Video games, comic books, all kinds of stuff. And the reason people wonder how I got those, it's a tax write-off.
And they look cool.
And they look cool. So what it is when you own a small business, this is just a quick tax thing for you. When you own a small business, there's a certain amount of things that you can write off. Doing YouTube, I actually don't have that much to write off. I can write off subscriptions to things that we watch. I can write off internet, I can write off things like that.
Yeah.
But when you own a small business like what we are, that you need bigger write-offs. So computers used to be our upgrades, but I got sick and tired of chasing like 2030s and all these cards around. So I started holding on to the computers, and I started replacing that with buying statues that I would put on the set. Because
it's a lot of computers.
Yeah.
Well, remember, I can just imagine all of these statues being computers. Sorry.
Well, so what happened is I would get the statues as set pieces, because we needed set pieces.
I remember that.
All these things like this. And then I'd keep them.
Yeah, there's no reason to get rid of them.
And that's how it started. But I did get Evangelion because it's really what kicked off my love for anime and manga. And Kevin will show you the giant statue.
That one's cool.
I love that one. I wanted to get the Ava 2, Asuka's.
Yeah.
But I couldn't warrant spending.
Was it? Well, of course it had.
It was like I think they were both 1,100. So I couldn't just do 2 of them and then have them.
Yeah, that's fucking one's enough. You know?
So, but anyway, that actual statue is the reason I started collecting anime statues, because my wife does not like anime statues. She doesn't want them in the house. That's why if you ever see the way the sets are set up, all of these things are behind me on my podcast stuff. She agreed to the Arknights only. As you can tell, I went a little crazy. So, this I think is funny because this is what I wanted to get these as the example of if you want to get into anime statue collecting. You can see these behind me. They're very tiny in a lot of the videos.
Yeah.
But these are $30 to $45. They just started these lines of smaller, more reasonably priced figurines you can pop up that are they're in one pose as opposed to posable figurines.
Yeah, the Figmas.
I like Figmas, but I can never make them look as cool.
The joints are a little weird.
I can never make them look as cool as everyone else can on the promo for this. So I get sick of, like when Kevin shows you how some of the stuff is a little bit closer, you'll see some of them posed in compute. I can't make them look cool.
Yeah, just it's an art almost.
Yeah, it is. So, but these ones are awesome because I've got the Demon Slayer Nezuko and Tanjiro. I got Todoroki.
First male on the scene. Let's go. Wait, second male. Sometimes is he though?
You're gonna see a trend. These are all the set pieces you've seen in the backgrounds of things, so that's why I wanted to show them all here. But there's gonna be a trend. There's a lot more women in my collection than there is.
Well, that's pretty normal.
I only got these 2 just to show that I had some male characters. Yeah. Come on, Toga though.
I thought it was a boy at first.
You thought Toga was a boy?
Turn it around. I guess I was looking from the top down and I saw the I don't know, it was weird. Okay, when I first saw it, I was like, "Whoa, you got a
schoolboy in the skirt."
And I'm looking closer, but wait a minute, that's not okay.
I know she's kind of flat-chested, but
I think it's the sweater.
I can see that.
I don't really know.
So I wanted to show these because a lot of people want to get into collecting these kinds of things, and part of the reason we never got into anime statues is anime statues were typically like, if you want to slide that back over,
the mega expensive.
They were mega expensive, and the problem is if I'm spending $250 to $300 per mega expensive anime statue.
I didn't realize you got that one.
Mona?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna show Mona in a minute.
I didn't even know he had that one.
It was upstairs intermingled with the Arknights.
I'm looking at him like, wait.
Yeah,
I know
it was intermingled with the Arknights. Oh, we're gonna show it in a minute. So, the problem is this size right here. Like, here's my hand for comparison. This is about my hand. One of these. These are small, but when you compare them to like the $600 statues that we have, which is like Kevin can show you a couple through the B-roll, like Solid Snake and things like that. Those aren't that expensive in comparison to these.
They're a nice place to start though.
Yeah, you jump.
Because if you like your character, now here's the thing, like when I go buy stuff, like usually I'm comfortable with the $45, $50 range because they're kind of like this.
Yeah.
But like you have to be careful about buying ones that are like fake. That's a little harder.
Well, fake is what I'm gonna have to bring up. So this is a fake one?
Yeah. Wait, which one? Is this the one? I don't think this is the one.
No, Nezuko is a fake one actually.
Really?
So this is not an official one, at least as far as I know. So what you're gonna run into when you're looking for statues like this is you're gonna run into fake statues. We'll just slide these over here so we know they're done.
So the ones upstairs are really the ones.
The ones upstairs are the super fakes. I got one of them here to show that off.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, the legs are just disgusting.
And this is what I wanted to teach you guys, because I don't know why you're watching this. If you just wanted to see a close-up of the background, if you want to hear us talk about Mangastorian, so this is a fake one. This is my favorite fake one because it actually looks good. But the problem with these is they're made very cheaply. So this one, I love this statue. And I do have a quick story about it. I was at an anime convention, and it was me and Hassan from our podcast channel. We were walking around, and I was looking for two things at this convention. I wanted Ultra Instinct Goku, which I still can't find a good figurine of it. It just doesn't exist. Yeah. And I wanted a Nezuko statue. And I found this one. And the guy wanted like 150 to 200 there. And I was like, I'm not gonna, because it's not a legit licensed product. Right. And so the problem is normally they're not this nice. Normally, and I'll show you a deeper look at this, they are this piece of garbage.
Yeah, this one, the legs, man, the shininess on the legs.
Right.
Hurts my soul.
But normally they're like this, which are trash, okay? So I didn't know this was gonna be super good quality. I didn't want it. The vendor there knew who I was and just gave it to me. And I was insisting at that point, no, I'll buy it. And he's like, no, you can go ahead and take it. You can just take it. I know who you are. I love your videos. Take the statue. This is literally one of the ones that you can, if you look closely in the background of the videos, this one's always there. And I've told this story a few times on podcasts. But there's very few things that have ever actually been given to me. So when things are given to me, I really treasure them because it's like, hey, somebody gave me something. You know, I didn't buy it. But so this is lucky because I also am a fan. I partake in the Genshins.
He's a gotcha boy. That's what he's trying to say.
And this I thought would be awesome. Raiden Shogun Raiden, whatever. Basically Mei from Honkai. That's who it is. Just make.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the same design. If you actually look at her over there,
face,
that one with the sword that you love.
Yeah,
that's the same character design.
Oh wow,
they made a Raiden Shogun in here.
They're
both lightning-powered characters.
Okay.
Yeah. So, because that's if you don't know, Hoyoverse likes to reuse character designs.
Of course.
Celia's a little girl in Honkai. Just.
Yeah, I noticed that they're like in the other games.
They aged them. They also aged them in Honkai the Third. They also aged them in that one.
I think it's better than
age. Anyway. This is garbage. The paint job's terrible. The character designs look terrible. I got this cheap though, which is why I have it. And it looks good in the box. It was only, I think, $50. Not cheap, but when you're like, oh, $45 max, $30 on average.
You really don't want to pay for something that's like a counterfeit.
And this is a counterfeit, 100%. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, show them the base.
This is the best part. Kevin can kind of zoom in, I guess, but she doesn't slot in the base properly, so you can't even stand her up.
She's not even good for a piece of, she's not even good Lego, man.
Oh, I got it. There we go.
Oh my God.
There we go.
You did it. Maybe she is a good Lego. Yeah, that's just... Yeah.
Like the pose. Nope. It's the garbage. You want to keep her? You want to take her home?
Yeah, I'll show you guys this a little close up, but there's like this shine. Like you can tell it's made from a material that's like not normal.
So I'm gonna keep going through some of these. Kevin's gonna be splicing in some B-roll.
I love that one.
Yeah, so this is it's actually another knockoff. So like Nezuko is one of my favorite knockoffs.
You can kind of see though, like, you know.
The way it's glued together.
But it looks cool, man. Like I want the real one.
Now,
Where's the real one?
Would you consider this a video game statue or an anime manga statue?
Yes. There's an anime, there's a manga, and there's video games. Yeah, I think this is cool. Regardless if it's, you know, even if it was like made by like somebody that's, you know, not officially licensed, I still think it looks awesome.
Oh, I mean that's why I own it. This one's actually prominently in the background. If you don't know the story with this one, Charizard is I had a shiny Charizard, and I carried Charizard through every game, every iteration, and then at some point, when we first started up the channels and we moved, Natalie and I We moved into Colorado, and I lost the cartridge, and I was upset. I was actually upset because this is just something I had since I was a kid. I managed to carry that cartridge from being a kid, college, the army. I carried my Pokemon cartridge, and I lost my shiny. And another fan of the channel sent it. This is back before they had like the whole new trading system. This was back in like we had to do some weird shit. Sent me a shiny Charizard.
Well, that's cool.
To replace it. And that shiny Charizard is right now in my Pokebox on Pokehome.
Waiting.
He goes into all my games. I now have like 3 shiny Charizards. That's a different thing, but I know which one was the original given to me by the fans. So Charizard's always been my boy.
Yeah. Originally we weren't going to show this one, but I love this one.
Yeah, he kept mentioning it.
I was like, we got to show this one. It's cool.
Because the whole idea is there to show you what's in the background that you can't really see.
Yeah.
So these two, I don't even remember ordering, but this is another line of stuff. Now, I've already mentioned I'm a fan of Evangelion, so of course I've got Rei and Asuka.
I thought I remember you ordering that one.
This one? I may have. Now I know, I don't doubt that I ordered these. This is a different line, like those $45, $30 ones. This is called Pop Parade. And they own a lot of licenses, and they're another cheap alternative to get your favorite anime statues and or characters into your office or home or whatever. These are running about $30. Some of them I found cheaper, depending on where you look for these things. And they just have a great line. I also have a character, one of the Hatsune Miku characters, but her head broke off in shipping, so I
saw that. I was like, her head's gone.
The head's ripped off, so I got to get that one corrected. But these two are great. Rei, the only problem I have with Rei is this is the like she wakes up after everything with the long hair, but you know.
They look pretty good though.
They do.
Like I don't think personally like I would pay like $50 for these things because I don't know. I have a standard and it's a weird thing and I don't know how to explain it, but it exists. But like, I could see paying like $30 for these. Yeah, and a lot of the anime stuff I have these 30. That's why in the background you just see like a conglomerate of different brands and stuff. I've got a bunch too, but they're all in boxes. You gotta get them out, man. I know. I don't know where you're gonna cram all these in here. There you go. Hi, welcome to my TED Talk. So this is another gacha game. Look at the angle we have here, Kevin. We have an angle. I was like, hey, why don't you turn it around a little bit? I'll give her a quick spin in a minute. That sounds creepy. Anyway, so this is another game I love to play. It's called Punishing Gray Ravens. It's very much in line of Honkai, Genshin, and now Star Rail. Where pretty much you draw the characters are OP, you go do. This one's very action oriented. The plot pretty much, if you were to take the game of Nier and then just turn Nier into a gacha game, this is it. Which is why when Nier made a gacha game called Reincarnation, I was very confused why it wasn't just this. Yeah. They even did a collab with it, and I have 2B, really? A2, and 9S in my Punishing Gray Ravens. But it's another one that I never thought would get statues, and there's actually 3 of them now, and I have all 3 of them. Well, Kevin will show you the other 2 in the other office, but this one's my all-time favorite. This is Alpha. She's like the best character in the game, in my opinion. I don't think she's the meta anymore, but I'm just... Give her a quick spin? I'm just giving her a quick spin, and then we're gonna pause on this angle. I don't see that side. This is what looks at me from the shelf, so I'm not that creepy. Right, yeah, you don't see that side. Yeah. You see the side staring into your soul. In all honesty, I kind of forgot how mostly see-through her underwear were on the backside. Good job. Okay. Good job with that one. So next up, we got this one. Kevin. Yo, look at that pose, bro. This is literally, if you play Genshin, this is Mona, who has become a meme for her ass sets. She's got like the perfect bathing suit. It's funny because she is kind of like wearing a bathing suit. Yeah. She's water-based. Like the Japanese, yeah, because she's water-based and it's like the Japanese kind of bathing suit. And it's like the school bathing suit. It's not really, but it kind of resembles it, so. This is another one of the more expensive ones. All the Genshin official lines. I mean, all the official stuff. That one ain't gonna be cheap. No, I think this one's like $300. The painting on this, it's such high quality. There's two-tone painting on this. Maybe I'll get a better shot of this, but like the white and the blue is just like, it looks good. Yeah. It looks really good. So, and now this one, this is who Raiden Shogun is based on. So this is a pain in the ass to pose. I'm not gonna get it up there, but this goes behind her on a pedestal, so it sits like this. Okay. I was wondering how to like. Yeah, well, that's what that is, and I can never get it to sit properly. Because there's like a little peg spot for it, but you can't. There's no peg thing on the. It's a pain in the butt, and the cat loves to mess with it and knock it off. So I just stopped putting it up. Does she wear these things? They float behind her in the game. Of course. And then she just attacks with them. Okay. So she's the lightning-based character from Honkai the Third. Dude, I could totally get into like
where's that bootleg? Let me see the bootleg. See, if you put them side by side, you can kind of see that they're based on each other. Just the design style.
The hair for sure, yeah.
I'll do it for you guys too.
But them horns though.
Well, the horns is a later transformation she gets, because Honkai is basically, what if you take the transformation ideas?
Look at the faces.
The bootleg.
They just look so goofy.
The Honkai is basically, and I've said this before, it pretty much boils down to the Dragon Ball Z plot. All the characters go through a dozen transformations to get more powerful to fight the Honkai.
I wonder if are these just stickers?
What, the eyes? I think they might be stickers.
It's like, man, these eyes look oddly really good. Yeah, I think they're like.
So here's this one.
Something.
This is my last Nezuko piece. This is from Universal Studios in Japan. So when they came out with the Mugen Train arc movie in Japan, they celebrated by making this popcorn container.
Isn't it awesome we don't live in Japan? Like, we can't get all this cool stuff. Well, we can.
Your popcorn goes in there.
Yeah, look at that.
So I immediately went online, because I saw this in an article, and it was like 30,000 yen or something like that. And I went to eBay immediately to see if I can get my hands on one of these things. And I found one for like 40 to 50 bucks. And then it was like, Japanese shipping, which is like 30 bucks in itself.
Yeah.
And it showed up, and it's been on the shelf ever since. And I think it's always been just out of view. Not intentionally, it's just where I
don't think you like see it too much, because it's on the bottom left, like way far.
So like it's only when I really pan out that you can see this thing in the background.
Imagine going to a movie and just getting one of those. Like, yeah, I got.
My hand wouldn't even fit this. Like, try to put your hand in there gently to get the popcorn out.
I mean,
it's not easy.
No, it's like because you gotta like put it in and then like turn down.
Yeah.
So. I mean, Japanese.
I will say, because you guys are probably wondering, no, this was not used. It came in a full plastic wrap. This is not greasy on the inside.
Dang. It's like, who used it? And then you get a profile picture of who used it. It's like, that's some real weird stuff.
So at this point, Kevin's probably, whatever B-roll he hasn't shown, we'll put up now. And I think it's a good time. So basically, for those who are wondering, I have been reading manga and watching anime forever. I have cycled on and off, as I do with comic books, over and over. Kevin, you do too. This time
2010 is when I started watching reading manga and watching more anime.
Yeah.
I had watched before then, like Dragon Ball.
I'm a little older than you, but it was like late 90s. I remember a buddy and I met up, and he could drive and I couldn't. And we started buying the DVDs.
Nobody I knew, because I grew up in a school that was like close to Detroit, so we had a lot of Detroit kids, and they didn't care about any of it.
Well, I had the same issue. You know, we all have that one weird moment that doesn't actually matter that much, but it like scarred you forever.
Oh, pretty much everything in my life, I feel like it scarred me forever.
There was because I was a kid who went in and out of. Oh,
go ahead, you're fine.
I was a kid who went in and out of homeschool to public school, back and forth, and I remember getting into anime, and I was trying to find friends who were also into anime.
Nobody was. Well, nobody were secretly.
But there was a kid who was wearing a shirt that had an anime design on it. And I got like the nerve one day to be like, I'm gonna go say hi and see if I can make friends, you know?
Yeah.
And he just looked at me and laughed, because it was a Korn shirt where they did an anime design for the character for the band of Korn.
That's what made me start going to conventions. Actually, is trying to find people,
just people to chat with.
Yeah.
That's why when people ask why we started Mangastorian 3 times, it's just because I like talking about things that I enjoy, and manga is one of them. But yeah, late 90s for me is when I started doing this, and I've off and on read manga or watched anime or done both. It's, I've never been super consistent, but I've never not really been into the world of doing this stuff. And so way back at the beginning of Comicstorian, Kevin and I started Mangastorian, and that was the most successful iteration.
It was great.
It launched and it did so well. It was just a carbon copy of Comicstorian, but with manga, where we did the panels and all that kinds of stuff. And it did super well, and it got so big that we hired a staff just to run that. Kevin was in charge of it. I would voice it over, and then he had a buddy of his doing some editing, and it was like a whole team.
Yeah, and then we started making our own content. And oh man, remember YouTube's like Armageddon?
Yeah.
That killed the channel. We were about to pop off. Like, we had tons of views, and when that happened, the channel was like flatlined.
Yeah. I mean, the channel was doing well. It was like well enough that we hired people specifically to work on it. But that's when we got hit by, what was the first video that got hit? Naruto?
It's
At At this point, there's no reason to hide it because we're not doing that style anymore. So
yeah, it was just Shueisha.
Yeah, so they came through and they annihilated 3 videos, which annihilated the channel overnight. It was just gone.
Yeah, they don't care.
So we launched up the second version, and that's when we tried to launch up the Patreon alongside it because Kevin and the other editor had some of the videos saved on a hard drive, but they didn't save all of them.
Most of them. I just like, I spent so much time making it for like hundreds of videos. It's like.
But the issue we ran into with the second one and when we launched the Patreon is you had moved over here and left the hard drive in Michigan. So we were trying to work it out with the former editor at the time who didn't work for us, so he had like no incentive to send it over. And while we were all friends with him, it just wasn't a priority. I mean, at all. I mean,
yeah, it just took a while, right?
Yeah. So we had that issue of trying to get the old videos over, and then when Kevin finally got them with the second iteration of the channel going and the Patreon started going, we then ran into the issue of not everything was on there.
I think we didn't start it again until after I came back from like my hospital stuff. That's when we started things up again because I had some health things.
And we almost took a year to get that hard drive.
Yeah.
With and we didn't know what was on it. That was the worst part. We didn't know if it had all of Attack on Titan or all of.
I still had a lot of. But like we were missing Attack on Titan, the majority of it. Yeah. So like we were waiting for that and some other like, cause you know we split the editing up sometimes. I would do it sometimes. The other editors would do it. So it's like, you know, I had most of it, but I didn't have everything. So we had to wait for that. And then we started re-uploading that and. Yeah, we tried to. So we started doing re-uploads of the old stuff plus new content plus doing things on Patreon as like a backup source. Yeah. But now, the difference between when we did Mangastorian the first time and Mangastorian now is every company doesn't like what we were doing in Mangastorian. Kodansha came out after us the last time.
Yeah, so it's Kodansha that came back
all right, well, I guess we won't do Attack on Titan ever again.
And they shut down the second iteration of the channel. And basically, at that point, everything that we do have is on Patreon. So the guy who keeps asking, and I've answered you a few times, that we're going to see if there's anything left or if we can find it. I don't know if I've told you directly, but I wanted to, but I didn't want to be seen like I was being rude. Like, dude, I think I've told you this.
It's hard to tell because it's been...
It is, because that guy in particular, you followed us through all of our iterations. So I don't know if I said it someplace or if the last thing I've said to you was it's on Patreon and we're working on it. Yeah. At this point, everything we have exists on Patreon. If something did exist, it is missing. Yeah. We can fix that, but we can't fix things that never went up because we just don't have it
Well, there
anymore.
are some things we just don't have. I don't have some of the Tokyo Ghoul just because... like it was separated. You stopped working on it for a while and then I picked it up and I was voicing it and I have some of those videos, but I don't have all of the videos and it's like, well, I can only do what I can. It was like so 8 years ago now.
For you who's been asking and you're probably on this video, this is my apology to you. I haven't responded because I have seen your comments.
Oh, I see them too.
Yeah, and the only reason I responded is I don't know if I have. And so we have a situation where some of our fans will ask the same question 800 times and not have seen the answers. So I don't like to come across as being rude and constantly saying the answer when it might just be a troll who's asking 800 times. So this is the official stance on anything involving them Patreon. If it's not up there at this point and you've never seen it, we probably just don't have the videos.
Yeah, we don't have it.
Yeah, just assume we don't got it. We've dug through everything we did have on the original iterations.
It was hard to like save those videos, man. I saved hundreds of videos from the destruction of the YouTube channel. Yeah. It was a miracle that I had most of them. Like we're lucky that we had as many as we did. We had almost all
just for spacing. I mean, most of those videos on average on Counterfeit and on Mangastorian, 1 to 4 gigs per video. Yeah. So just imagine how much space that takes up to do the whole, like our Berserk series was huge.
Yeah. It's like 80 something videos, I think. Yeah. Just that one.
And that's why we were running tight on space. That was an issue. There's a period, we now back up everything. Like we literally the company buys people hard drives to put things on because of that situation. We've learned from our mistakes.
It's fun. A lot of space, a lot of videos.
Yeah.
Get lost easy.
But that led us to the 3rd iteration of Mangastorian, which you guys saw it go live right around Christmas, I think was my first video. For 6 months, I was trying to convince Kevin to do it again.
I just don't have the heart to go hard.
He didn't, and that was what it came down to.
It's still kind of like that.
For 6 months, I was trying to convince Kevin, I want to do it again. I want to do it again. Because like, what I missed was having people to talk about and talk to, and like, Kevin and I are having so much fun chatting One Piece, and he's trying so hard not to spoil things for me.
It's hard. I'm like, oh, you haven't got there yet.
Yeah, and it's so fun to chat with him about that. And JoJo's Bizarre Adventure I've been watching now finally, and the way my life works, like, and this is how it's been since the army. Whatever I do for fun, my brain always tries to find a way to monetize it. That's why Comicstorian exists.
I do the same.
That's how Assassin's Creed lore exists. That's why I'm doing that again, because I'm like, well, if I'm going to do all this research, why don't I make a video on it?
Yeah, because you're spending your time doing it anyway.
Yeah, even if I make $20 on this Assassin's Creed video, I'm going to read all this lore.
I'm doing it anyways, yeah.
What happened with Mangastorian each time is normally when it got shut down, it would get put on my back. I'll read that later. I'll read that later. And then I just forget to read it. Like a lot of people were like, oh, Benny, did you end up finishing such and such? Like, no, I just completely fell off once the channel died, because all my focus went to catch up on Spider-Man, catch up on these movies, catch up on this topic, do this, do that. So that's why I wanted Mangastorian back, because I wanted to have a reason beyond just the love of it, but a reason to read. So my brain also organizes, oh shit, we gotta go read 5 chapters of One Piece. Yeah. Oh shit, I gotta go read this Dragon Ball. Like, it gives me a reason to do these things. And I know some people are like, you shouldn't need a reason. I love manga. It's just the way my life is structured. I mean, you gotta think, we make our money literally off of video games and comic books, and
our hobbies are how we make a living.
Yeah.
So like when it comes to like, oh, this is my hobby, but maybe maybe I could talk about it and people might. It's like maybe someone would be interested. It's kind of like the thing where it's like, the whole streaming thing. It's like, oh yeah, I don't want to stream because of that. And it's like, well, some people just do it to do it.
Yeah.
And
for me, I like streaming because I like chatting with people, but I hate having a schedule.
I hate having to be tied down.
Exactly. That's what I hate. And for those who have watched the streams, I love streaming because I love chatting with you guys live on the air. I hate having a schedule, and if you don't have a schedule on your stream, you just get lower and lower viewers, and that is so demotivating.
Yeah.
To be like, oh man, I'm gonna go live today and we're gonna chat about this new Assassin's Creed.
No one shows up. And you have no one to talk to about it.
And it's just like, that's not the fun part. The fun part's chatting with people.
I've done many streams.
You wanna know how bad my brain is? Since we're having more of a fun, casual, using my statues and everything. My brain gets so bad about the monetization. Kevin and I play looter shooters on the regular. And we watch, to keep up on those looter shooters, the videos that give you the weekly updates. My brain will not stop telling me that Kevin and I should make an entire channel oriented on all of our looter shooters updates and just throw out those videos because we're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
I totally think we could do a Destiny channel and then just talk about Division or this other game or this game and just talk about looter shooters.
Yeah.
We could.
And then you look at all of the clickbait and it's like, I don't want to make content like that. I don't want to be like, you gotta get this spec right now.
Well, it's the reason why I'm not turning Mangastorian into what a lot of these manga and anime channels are, where they're just like, Frieza's new transformation. Oh my god.
It's always been like that. See, and then what you do is you take the thumbnail and then you turn Frieza into a green, we put a green outline behind him, and you're just like, whoa, what's this new power up? I gotta click this video, and that's like...
I'm putting it, we might eventually do things like that.
I've done things like that. You guys have known if you've seen it.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of doing super clickbait, but I will admit, because we're doing it now in Comicstorian, the way YouTube's moving, we have to.
But it's not, I was always a person that was like, I don't want to do it in a way where it's gonna mislead you. And
that's always been my goal. I don't want, if I do clickbait, even if it's 1 minute of the video, I want it to be in the video.
Yeah, you're gonna get what you clicked on. You're gonna get what you clicked on the video for.
I'm distracting Kevin.
He just keeps inching it closer to me. He's like, okay, let's see what you're doing.
Oh, I didn't get all the plastic off.
I just noticed that.
Yeah, I didn't notice that too. This literally came in like 3 days ago. I just assembled this.
It looks so fresh.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that's a quick Q&A. If for those who are wondering, I glanced at the One Piece comments. I do have a way of reading comments that aren't going to spoil things for myself.
Yeah.
It's normally based on...
It's called Dan?
Huh?
It's called Dan?
I call it Dan if they're getting really bad. But because we've been doing Comicstorian so long, I know how to breeze the comments. Because what I'm looking for when I read the comments is your reactions to my reaction or problems with the video. That's why I do check the comments. Because I might screen it, Kevin might screen it, but we've also seen it like 4 times and we just completely missed something multiple times.
It's a half an hour video and I spent hours on it, and there's this one little spot that I forgot.
But commenters will always tell us.
Oh yeah.
This is why I go check it.
They love to tell us how bad I am at my job, I guess. So.
Yeah. But there's a lot of stuff coming to Mangastorian. We are trying to think of a way to increase to 2 videos a week without me just making it all about the Benny show.
Like, what do you guys want to?
Yeah, well, that's why we're trying
entertaining for you.
That's why we're trying things like this. Me and Kevin having a conversation. If you want to see more of the collection, because more stuff's coming in. Trust me, I got so much stuff on order now, and that Kevin's already shown you. Oh, you give me a reason to buy more, guys. Please, please do it.
He needs more statues. They're just not everywhere I look.
Don't worry. As they go, I'll be like, and Kevin, this is now yours. It goes to your place.
You're gonna see me leaving his house with a bunch of statues like, all right guys, catch you later. I got a bunch of anime girls in my hand.
But we did the thing with Dan where we had the discussion. I'm doing this stuff with Kevin. We're also gonna have discussions. We're gonna bring in Natalie, my wife, to talk about some of the anime she's watching. I wanna make this more just fun, community oriented. What do you guys wanna see and talk about? What do you wanna see us talk about? And I hope you guys enjoy this more friend aspect because I want to keep doing these while continuing my on-screen, my opinions of shit. So
yeah, like let us know what you're watching or reading too, because like there could be something new there that
I just read one that's like interesting. I can't remember the name of it. I'll have to look it up. But I'm debating doing a video on it. It's like a 50-chapter start, but it takes place in World War II. Right after the bombings. Okay. And it's about a kid who's so good at boxing that they're gonna.
Oh, it's a boxing one.
Yeah, it's like a boxing one. And I'm like, I haven't read a sports anime.
Have you
want to know the last sports one I watched anime? Let's see if you guess.
What?
The last sports anime I watched. Because I watched those too, for the record. For the last one I watched, I was talking to you about it, and you were laughing at me. You were laughing at me for watching it.
Was it?
And I'm so sad it's not coming back.
I think about the bike one. I think about soccer. I think about soccer especially. I just can't remember. I don't know.
And volleyball.
Is it? Oh, of course.
Kaijo. Remember that one?
Was
all the girls using their boobs and butts to use the volleyball.
They were like, weren't they dancing, like bouncing on the water? Dude, they took that show away from us, man.
I watched episode 1 as a joke, and I'm like, there's a plot here. All right, and I ended up watching the whole series.
It wasn't as bad as everyone said it was.
No, it was great.
Yeah, it was like, whoa.
I was so sad when it ended.
And they just took it away. They're just like, we can't do this. It's like, you're in Japan, you can do this.
One of the things I like to do, and this leads into anime, when I'm not working, the thing I do to disconnect and finally be away from and not think about things I can make money on, I literally put on shitty shows, shitty movies, or shitty anime. And what I do is I pop on ones that look terrible. Because I like terrible movies and terrible anime.
That's fair, yeah.
But sometimes you find those gems where you're like, I'm gonna watch an episode of this one about girls using their butts for.
So bad.
It's not, and you find these like hidden gems, which is what I love. I do the same thing with comic books and manga. You should see half the ones that Kevin and I bought at Barnes & Noble that I was gonna read in the top. Dick Fight Island, if you saw me talk about that in the video, that's how that came out. I was
so adamant about that. Why? Because it's Dick Fight Island. That's it. I don't care what the story is.
I'll read it. We're gonna make the video because I just love exploring out of what's known. Yeah. And I haven't tested much of that here on Mangastorian because obviously we need to build the audience off of the One Piece and the Dragon Ball and the Chainsaw Man.
I think that would be fun.
But I did put up Yakuza Reincarnation, and I did put up Kaiju number 8. I put those up in my, I always miss the name up, a level 1 Demon Lord and a level Room 1 Hero.
There was one I was thinking of telling you about. I'll see if I can figure it out. But someone told me about it, and I was like, this could be good.
But that's so if you also want me to go more deeper into anime, I got Dan, Kevin, and Natalie who will watch anything we want to watch and talk about. I'm the guy that reads the most manga. That's not to bring anyone down. It's just I just read a lot of comics and manga.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'll be the first one to say I don't. Yeah. I don't sit there. I do read, right? But like I don't. I'm not just like. But maybe see. I love One Piece, right? I have an outlet for One Piece. My cousin just tells me what happens in that. So it's like, well, I don't need to read it. Well, I do need to read it because it's, One Piece right now is banging. I'll
get there one day. The rate I'm going, someone did the timing on it. I love this comment. Someone made the timing. At the rate Benny's going, he'll be caught up in 1 year. And I'm like, no. The pacing, you're probably not wrong. I mean,
I don't know.
You think I'll get faster?
No.
I think I've been doing a pretty good pace, considering I can't just sit down and read One Piece.
It's not bad. Like I said, though, you're gonna have to watch the show. It's in English.
Yeah. I'm just saying, and it's not even that I don't want to sit down and read one. I have to read like 30 comics in a week, and I'm also trying to read the other manga so that we're not just a One Piece channel.
One Piece is like a beast of its own,
And the reason I'm not just blitzing it down is because I know how much I have to read.
Yeah. Well, I
also feel if I blitz it down, I'll probably start hating it.
Yeah.
I do think if I just bang it all out.
You want to do it at a point where you'll enjoy
I need to find. I've been looking for statues of Nami, but there's no good ones that she's not naked.
Well, Why would there be?
I did pick out some the One Piece Red versions, but they're in these like crazy pirate costumes, which I don't remember them putting on.
Yeah, definitely not.
For those who are saying no, we are not watching One Piece Red with my wife, because somebody brought up a really good point, so we didn't do it.
What?
If I watch it now it's going to spoil things, because I'm going to know context finally.
I mean, okay, so the only
characters and stuff.
The only thing it'll spoil is some characters, but like, there's a lot of stuff. Some things I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, it could be, but like you'll like, oh, this is who this character is, but you're not going to know anything else. I don't think One Piece Red was actually a really good film. So.
I know, you've had that argument. I keep mentioning One Piece Red, and I agree. I don't think it's a great film.
I'm surprised anyone could get into it off of that.
I just liked the action in it. I liked Uda, and I was really sad that Uda apparently is just not a thing.
Shanks has a what?
That's what I mean, like, she's just not a thing, period.
Shanks is moving off of his island? He's doing that now in the manga, but it was just
she's
like,
just not a thing. I was like, ah. And I agree, because it's not the greatest movie.
Yeah.
But for whatever the reason, it made me interested to read it.
Okay, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take it.
Because we were talking about it in the car one day, and I mentioned doing the One Piece Red thing with Natalie, and he just snapped at me. Because sometimes Kevin will just randomly snap at you over the weirdest thing. He's like, it sucked. Quit bringing up One Piece Red.
It's like, I can't believe you got into that the series from that movie. It just wasn't like, there was nothing.
You know what I think it was? I liked the character of Uda and Luffy's origin together. And I've never seen an anime musical that wasn't some romantic.
It was really odd,
yeah. I've never seen that wasn't just like a fight sequence musical. And I'm a fan of musicals. That's another secret you guys don't know. I'm a fan of musicals, and I've seen some of the ones that are just like, because most of the anime ones are just romantics or dramas, and then so I think that's why it really clicked with me. Like, this is cool. Like, so, but you know what's not in One Piece? Musical numbers in Uda.
True. Well, it's just like, you know, it wasn't terrible. It's just a little slice of One Piece.
But that's why we haven't done that video with my wife, is because people have, and I read that comment in the comments, a few did, but they said if you watch it now, you'll know more about what's actually going on. Because right now I have such a rough memory of it, none of it links.
The best part is, nobody knows what's happening in One Piece right now. Nobody. We think we know. We think we know it's going to happen, but we don't know yet. So
she's watching some other anime. We're bringing her to the channel. If you guys like this kind of a thing, I guess this is basically another podcast.
Just hanging out, yeah.
Let us know, because I can literally put these statues here.
A lot more stuff we could do.
And then chat with Kevin about all the... Kevin's our anime manga expert, so... I mean, I consider myself pretty well versed, but I'm not an expert. Cause
I went some deep weeb hours in 2010. Yeah. I went to conventions, like, because that was my outlet to go to conventions. Because like I talked to a random dude I'd never met about something we were interested in. And I was like, dang, that's why I went to conventions, because it's like I'd never had experience. I don't like to talk to like new people, but like it was just a random dude, and we were looking at the same thing, and then we just like that's magic, dude. Like, I'm like, that's why.
I mean, that's why I started Counterfeit to find like-minded comic readers, and that's why the first version I was like, let's do Mangastorian, because I like to chat about this stuff with people, and I find people this way.
I would love to just talk to a bunch of people, like, because that's why one of the reasons I wanted to start doing manga and stuff, and just anime in general, is because like it's nice to talk to people, even outside of just like my immediate friends, about this stuff. And
that's exactly why I made the channel. I mean, that's literally why I decided to do that.
And shuts us down.
But that's why I started the Assassin's Creed Lore channel, though. I just wanted to find some people who like Assassin's Creed and want to talk about it. I'm really tired of every time I tweet something about Assassin's Creed, 9 people want to tell me that it's gone to shit. I don't care what you think. I like it. I want to talk about it. That's it. And that's how I feel about manga and comics. That's why you guys never see me arguing with people, and I try not to shit on things, because I just look for the positives. But I'm going to wrap this video up here. I think at this point you've definitely showed all the B-roll. There's no way you haven't.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
But let us know what you guys think. If you like more of this, that's discussions with Dan, and we're going to do the video with my wife soon, so you'll have that one to also. Let me know what you guys want on this channel, because I love doing these videos and having these discussions, and I'd love to bring you into the community. Right now I'm debating if we just continue bringing people to the Comicstorian Discord, or should we actually just revitalize the Mangastorian one you made forever ago?
No, I mean,
I don't know what would be
we
best.
have a manga and anime section.
Which is why we might just lump everyone in, but we'll figure it all out. Let me know what you guys would want. Do you want to join our large community for comics, but there's also manga, webtoons, and stuff there you can talk? Or would you rather have more of a concise manga and anime community?
Yeah. That's really a good question, because like there's a lot of stuff in there that you can kind of get into.
Yeah.
But it's not just anime and manga. So.
Yeah. Which I think is the benefit and negative.
Yeah, because it's like video games.
Yeah, we got everything in there that we do. It's all in there. But thank you guys so much. We crossed 20,000. I wanted to make this video, and Kevin and I just took forever to get to it. And we finally did it, and there's so many more statues and stuff to show, but thank you guys so much for the 20,000 subs. I think we're now at 24,000. We'll do more videos like this.
See at 400K?
Yeah,
we were at 400K before the first channel.
I just want 100K. I just want the plaque again.
I'm sad.
We get the plaque again.
The problem is that every time we talk about it.
I know. We lost so much of that. But thank you guys. We'll see you next time.